Cacia and you're watching CZZ. Today we have a very special guest. Miss Cherry Delight is here. Hey! So me and Cherry met through a photo shoot together, and Miss Cherry, who does burlesque and acting, singing, who just finished an album which is gonna come out.
April 26th is going to be the pre-sale. When some of the songs will be available, but then May 11th, the whole thing's gonna be ready.
Okay,
to
so
drop.
May 11 is the real release of the full album.
I'll drag your soul with me to hell. Cherry tears rolling out your eyes. Tastes so good, make a grown man cry.
And today we're going to talk about her creative process, her vision, dreams, and we'll cover some traumas and like the values of surviving and getting through things. And you know, I think it's very, very important to address this hard topic sometimes. So Cherry, how old were you when you know that you are an artist?
Immediately. Both my parents are visual artists. Both my parents are graphic designers. Well, we're graphic designers. So they always encouraged me to go into the arts and things like that. They always nurtured my creative side. I would say it's probably the only thing that they did right.
So family, it's like every, in Chinese they say that there's a different Bible in every family. And I say Bible just as a reference of like, you know,
a story.
The doctrines or the rules or whatever. Like every family has this kind of different kind of rules and things that will be imposing on you. So they kind of cultivate a little bit of your creativity, the value, and then tell me how is it like growing up as half Filipino, half American? Yeah.
I always was very connected to my Filipino roots. Much more than the other half of my Sicilian roots. The Sicilian roots that I have, it's my mom's side, and they are very strict on that side. And
Catholic, very
Catholic on both sides.
Yeah.
But I will say that, you know, there are members on my father's side of the family that are like, I wouldn't have survived without them. Like my cousins, Lauren. So my other cousin Lauren, and then there's Christina, and then there's me. So we're raised like triplets. They're like my sisters.
Just sisterhood, yeah.
They're everything to me, and I wouldn't have survived without them. Also, my cousin Christina's parents, my auntie Annabelle, my uncle Waldo, they're always very nurturing and always very supportive of me. So I'm very grateful for them. Very grateful for them to this day. I used to escape to them a lot for summertime.
Yeah.
I'd spend like a month at their house, and I'd feel really free and feel very loved and just have a great time the entire time.
Just all like,
though they did make me go to church. They made me go to church on Sundays though. No matter what, I had to do that. But you know, just being immersed like in that Filipino culture growing up, that was the side that really loved me. So that is why I've always identified more as Filipino American. People look at me and they say, "You're not Asian. You're not Filipino." I mean, like fuck you. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to look like? I mean, my Lola is very light skinned. And I mean, this is my natural hair color. I made it kind of textury today, but my hair is straight. But you know, that's part of who I am. Actually, I want to get a tattoo of the Filipino sun from the flag. I want to get it on the nape of my neck. So the next time someone's like, "You're not Filipino," I'd be like, "Yeah, bitch!
Really?
I had the fucking flag on me! Fuck you, you know? I
have it skin.
Yeah,
How dare you?
And I cook Filipino foods better than a lot of Filipinos out there. So, I mean, I know how to make pancit. I know how to make... I make some fucking menudo. I make adobo.
Ooh.
I would put my menudo in a
Madudo, babudo, barudo. All those names sound so cute.
Such a fucking weirdo, Cacia.
Well, I love sounds and I love language, and I love to kind of study the different twins in different language. I mean, yeah, it's like I'm like a little baby sometimes when I heard a new language. I'm like, Badudu? And you know, like in Hawaiian, the native language, they have so many vowels, you know. Every vowel is like wakalika likolo. You know, like each row when you go to Hawaii is like Waikiki, Wakalina, Halano. It's like, you know, just a lot of like vowels, consonant, and just like, whoa.
It's true.
How do I remember that? Except for making them cute, then I will remember it.
Right.
You know, be like, oh, akolaka.
Well, you can't help but be cute, though. That's just a part of what you are. You can't help it. The problem is you know it. But yeah, growing up being half Asian in a predominantly white neighborhood, you know, like I've said before, like I wasn't Asian enough to play with the Asian kids. I wasn't white enough to play with the white kids. I mean, but on top of that, they just could smell the weirdness of my personality.
But you're a different blend from, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, a big part of that was because, you know, Lauren and Christina lived in New Jersey. Mm-hmm. So I didn't get to see them very often at all. Mm-hmm. So I was raised primarily just around adults. I was around adults all the time, and it made me an extremely intelligent but very awkward child.
Yeah.
And it was very hard for me to interact with kids because I was like something out of a time machine, because all the adults that were around me were older, so they educated me on things they knew from when they were kids. So I knew things like from older times, and people would be like, what? You know?
Yeah.
Like, I had like Beatles posters on my walls, and like, you know, things from the 50s and
yeah,
like Carol Burnett and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you know, kids on the playground used to play a game called Don't Play with Cherry.
Oh my god, that's so mean.
So I would go out in the playground, go up to other kids, and they just pretend that I wasn't there. It was like a game they like to play.
God, kids are such an asshole.
Yeah, but
they're honest asshole though. They're honest asshole.
Yeah, they're just terrible. But I mean, compared to things that I went on like in my home life, school, I'll take that over like the trauma that I faced a little bit later. Mm-hmm. 'Cause you know, bullies are bad, but it gets much worse from what we're about to talk about. I have some water before I talk about this.
So, can you cover a little bit of what had happened during that period of time where you were bullied in school, but that was actually the minor thing for your life? Like,
bullying in school actually got worse when the traumas of my life started to begin, because when you have trauma as a child, you start to act very strange in school, and it alienates you even more because you don't know how to talk to people. So my dad's cousin, who was my Auntie Joy, as I referred to her, she was married to someone named Richard, who was my Uncle Richard, and he was in my life from when I was very little. Like, I was the flower girl at their wedding and everything. And around 9 years old, things started to change. I started to pay a little more attention to me. He lived with my Auntie Joy in the basement of my Lola's house. Lola means grandma in Tagalog. Now, you know, I would go down and visit them, and I'd visit my uncle, and he started like grooming me around the time that I was 9 years old for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is, like, he would touch me. He'd just, like, be on me. But, when you're a child, you have no idea what's going on, You're just a kid.
Yeah.
So you don't understand what sex is and what those kinds of feelings are. But he went after me specifically because he knew that I was alienated at school. So when there's a kid like that who is reaching out for love, and the first person says, "I'll give you love," they run right to them because they want to be accepted, and they want to feel appreciated, and they want to feel special. So predators prey on children who feel like outcasts because they will gravitate towards them more.
They're very vulnerable. Yeah.
Yeah. So things started to progress, and I didn't understand why I kept going back to him, because I didn't understand, like, why it felt good. And it was very confusing for me because, like, there was something about me that knew that it wasn't right. But, when this stuff happens to kids, it kickstarts your hormones, which is one of the most unfortunate. I mean, the whole thing is unfortunate, but that's a side effect that happens. It kickstarts your hormones. And I was starting to, like, hit puberty and stuff like that. And, like, right around the time I was starting to hit puberty was, like, when things, like, started to get really bad. And I believe it was in 97. It was 22 years ago. That's what I know. It was 22 years ago. And he lured me downstairs to see, like, this new show called South Park.
South Park.
Yeah. This is one of the reasons why I've never been the biggest South Park fan. Yeah, he brought me downstairs to see South Park, and that's when he made his move on me. Yeah, he put me in a chokehold. I was 11. Yeah, and he raped me. With his hands. He took my body before I understood what it was.
Yeah. And how about has your mom ever told you anything to, like, don't let any stranger touch you, or any kind of, like, slightly sexual education that, like, don't let men take advantage of you? Like, did your mom kind of install those thing in you?
The thing during that time period, because around the 80s and 90s, there was a time period where kids were getting kidnapped by strangers.
Yeah.
So it's a don't talk to strangers thing.
Okay.
But the thing that a lot of people don't understand is most of the time, it's not strangers.
Yeah.
It's people in your family. It's people that are close to you. It's people that you trust.
Yeah.
It's not always a stranger that says, "Here, kid, I got some candy in my van." Yeah. It's more often than not someone that you know.
Someone familiar.
That's in your house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone, even your parents
and
trust and stuff.
They don't talk about that stuff.
Yeah.
So, my mom is extremely ignorant in a lot of ways, particularly sexually ignorant. She told me that I couldn't tell anyone because if my dad knew, he would kill Richard. So to protect my dad and everything, like, basically she was like, if this never happened, you just
protect your dad.
Yeah, because she said that if he found out, he would kill Richard, and my dad would go to jail forever for manslaughter. So, like, she said, like, you know, this never happened. And right around that time when they were gaslighting me, and my mom told me, like, this you imagined it, I started to become really violent when she started to really, like, nag me and stuff. Like, because I would go to school, and I would be bullied and stuff like that, and then I would come home, and then she would try to bully me. Yeah, and then, I just get really violent. So then, they started putting me, like, in mental institutions at a very young age. First one they put me into was Westchester Medical Center, and it was extremely scary. And one of the things about that is it's like prison. Yeah. they check your body. They make you strip down and they check your body for marks and stuff like that, and they check you internally. As a child sexual trauma victim, I'm shivering there naked in front of a stranger who has a clipboard, who's telling me to like show her like my inner labia, and I have tears going down my face, and I'm begging her, please don't make me do this, you know. And I had to do it anyway. And then once she had everything she needed and the information, she left, and I just collapsed on the disgusting little bed, a little cot, you know.
Yeah, this medical cold steel bed.
Yeah, it was dirty in there. Some girl's diary was underneath the mattress, like from before. That I remember. There's a poem in that in there. I forget the girl's name, but it had all who knew her well, and all who didn't can go to hell. It's someone. I remember that.
Oh God.
But yeah, it was scary in there. Those kids were fucking scary, and I didn't belong in there. And then they started to pump me full of different kinds of pills to try to make me docile, you know?
Just be numb and like desensitized.
Yes. Yeah. And they told me that I had multiple personality disorder. They told me I was bipolar. They put me in special ed. They put me in things because, you know, they didn't understand what was wrong with me. And they told me there was something wrong with my brain since I was a kid. They told me that, like, oh, your kindergarten teacher told us that something was wrong with you, and they just didn't believe you.
It kind of is then from your family didn't believe you to going to a psych ward, and then to have professional don't believe you. That's so horrifying.
So I didn't start to really think about what happened to me until the Bill Cosby stuff started to come out. You know?
Drag your soul with me to hell. Cherry tears rolling out your eyes. Taste so good, make a grown man cry.
That's it for this episode. For more interview with Miss Cherry Delight, that will be coming up very soon. So stay tuned to my channel. If you like my video, please give me a thumbs up, share with your friend, leave a comment. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe for me, and I will see you next time.